when you look at LA Knight nose to nose with Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Nothing in that interaction tells you that LA Knight should not win. LA Knight does not look not ready for this. And I love that the way LA Knight is portraying himself is not somebody that's going, well, gee, gosh, golly, I never thought it'd be me. Well, gee, I can't believe it. I've dreamed about this moment for so long. LA Knight's not a guy who won American Idol. LA Knight's not a guy who won Tough Enough. As a matter of fact, the LA Knight-averse, the LA Knight is everywhere, continued this week. LA Knight was on Tough Enough. Did we even know this? When I was going through that LA Knight was everywhere, and I saw him on the commercials for Rent-A-Center or whatever he was on the Triple H workout tape, on all this stuff, I didn't know that there is one scene, and he didn't even come close to being a finalist, by the way, on Tough Enough. But there is one scene where they're at the beach. This is the same Tough Enough that we saw Ryback. This is the same Tough Enough that we saw The Miz. This is the same Tough Enough where the Boogeyman auditioned, and he said, I'm 30 years old. I'm 30 years old. I'm 40 years old. It's great. Great scene in television. LA Knight was there. LA Knight was trying out. There is a shot, a camera shot, where he is full frame, and that face is unmistakable. He's got longer hair. He's got no beard, but it is LA Knight. Yeah. You know what that means? Think about it. That's $1 Million Tough Enough. I was in college when $1 Million Tough Enough came out. I was in Syracuse University, sitting in a dorm room. I remember specifically, I was in a dorm room when those episodes were coming on. You know what LA Knight was doing when I was in Syracuse? He was trying to be a WWE superstar. And then I got out of Syracuse. I started interning for a radio station. You know what LA Knight was doing? He was trying to be a WWE superstar. And then I got a job in radio, and I started doing some stuff with wrestling. I started going around as a young man asking wrestlers, what's the haps? Just to try to build some buzz for myself. You know what LA Knight was doing when I was doing that? He was trying to be a WWE superstar. And then I decided to start a wrestling podcast. We're now at episode 471 of that wrestling podcast. You know what LA Knight was doing when I started episode 1 of that wrestling podcast? He was trying to be a WWE superstar. And here we are, some 471 weeks after that. Plus, everything I did professionally before I was doing a wrestling podcast. Plus, everything I did before that, going all the way back to Syracuse. And LA Knight has traveled that road. And he's sitting across from the biggest star in the industry saying, enough of your yapping. Sign the contract so I can take your title in Saudi Arabia. LA Knight is going to the main event of Crown Jewel. And this ain't a Rudy story. This isn't, you never thought he could make it, but he's making it. This is somebody who decided that he was never going to be picked. So his only option was to be undeniable. And when everybody said he sounded too much like Stone Cold or The Rock, when everybody said it was too generic, when everybody said what everybody said, he said, I think I'm just going to keep doing things my way and be so undeniable that I will get to a point where we are going to Saudi Arabia to do one of the biggest WWE shows of the year, a show that WWE makes a lot of money doing, which means that the star power has to be huge. And I'll main event that show. Not because I got lucky, not because I fell into it, but because I made it so. Because I demanded it to be so. I forced the hand. And now we're here. And without humility, I'm here to take the title. And the fact that you, as you're watching the show, you look at this LA Knight character and you believe him when he says, I'm coming to take the title. And you go, in any other circumstance, I'd say there was zero chance that LA Knight wins against Roman Reigns. But this isn't any other circumstance. Is there a 50-50 shot that LA Knight beats Roman Reigns? Absolutely not. But is it greater than 1%? I think people want it to be, which says everything. There have been plenty of Roman Reigns matches that people have been like, I'm excited to see the match, but I don't think or necessarily even want Roman to lose. Like, this isn't the one that Roman loses the title at. But that's not what this is. This is something different. And when you go through the year of Roman Reigns and the stories that he's got defending the title, and that's one of the reasons why the Bloodline story has been able to maintain for all these years, because it's been different. For 2 years, Roman had to prove himself. In this last year, really starting from last September in Clash at the Castle with Drew McIntyre, but let's just call it in 2023, it's been about building a babyface that's strong enough that whether you believe it will happen or you don't believe it will happen, you want it to happen. You want them to dethrone Roman Reigns. And who have been the ones to get that opportunity in 2023? Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, LA Knight. All of them going in to a scenario where you're like, you know what? Except for Cody, I don't see it happening, but I'd love for it to happen. And LA Knight is the next one who's achieved that. And people go, well, what happens to LA Knight if he doesn't beat Roman Reigns? Okay. Does he go back to square one? Is this it for LA Knight if he doesn't beat Roman Reigns? How's Sami Zayn doing? Top babyface. How's Cody Rhodes doing? Top babyface. How's Jey Uso doing? Top babyface. Bigger than he's ever been. Sami Zayn is just as big, if not bigger, than he's ever been. Cody Rhodes, just as big, if not bigger, than he's ever been. On that list of people that have competed against Roman Reigns and have had all the momentum in the world going into that Roman Reigns match, every single one has come out better for it eventually. And you could argue Cody Rhodes all you want. But the fact is that Cody Rhodes is just as popular, if not more, than he was going into WrestleMania. And if you want evidence of that, ask around. Ask wrestling fans what they want the main event of WrestleMania 40 to be. And I believe that the vast majority will tell you that they want the main event of WrestleMania 40 to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Because Cody Rhodes hasn't lost an ounce. Nor has Sami Zayn, nor has Jey Uso. All of them have gained. And that leads me to believe that LA Knight will be on the same track. Do I think LA Knight's going to beat Roman Reigns? I don't. But the fact that LA Knight has looked Roman Reigns in the face and maintained his positioning right here with the biggest star in the industry, it's a very difficult thing to do. The fact that LA Knight has gone from Max Dupree to I'm in the main event spot and I 1000% belong here. Do you guys think so? Yeah! He ain't getting out of this spot anytime soon. And the only complication for the WWE is what are we going to do with another huge star to maintain that star power? But you know what? They've done an okay job so far. Like I've said before, wild speculation. But as we know, with the last professional broadcaster, it's never just wild speculation. It's also a spoiler. I would say LA Knight finally gets a title at WrestleMania against Logan Paul. Maybe it happens before WrestleMania, but that's what I would say. I think there are going to be people going into the Royal Rumble wanting LA Knight to win the Royal Rumble. That's what I think.